What's going on, guys? How's it going? Mike Lazarecki here. Today I'm going to take you guys out with me to show you how to take some really cool long exposure photographs like this one in my new home state. More on that later. Let's go. All right, and for our waterfall photos today, we are actually at Silver Falls State Park, just outside of Silverton, Oregon. And I'm currently hanging out at the South Falls area. We're gonna see what we can get from here. Check it out. So what is the whole point behind doing this long exposure photography for waterfalls? Well, think of those really cool, like almost ghostly images of waterfalls and different bodies of water that you've seen in the past, and it almost has like that like ethereal look to it. There's an unrealness to it that it's really pretty cool. Once you learn how to do it, it's pretty cool to be able to reproduce it pretty much when you want to. When it comes to doing this kind of a photo shoot or this type of photography, there's really only two things that you need to accomplish this. And the two things that I'm talking about are ND filters and the knowledge of the settings that you need on your camera. And I'm going to try to show you how to use both right now. Okay, so sorry for the super shitty audio, but it started raining for a minute and I didn't want to get out the second camera. So right now I'm trying to get my camera set up. I've got it set up for a 6-second exposure. And obviously, as you can see here, I basically have the Gorilla Pod wrapped around the bottom of this bridge strut to try to capture this shot. 6-second exposure. I'm at f4, ISO 300, and I've got a 10-stop ND filter on. I want to make sure that I'm focused where I want to be focused, and then I'm going to go ahead and hit the shutter button. And I'm going to allow it to go ahead and take its 6-second exposure, and it should come out pretty good. Okay, so we've got our photo. Now let's go edit it. All right, so we've got our photos imported into Lightroom that we took over at Silver Falls. And we're gonna go ahead and throw a quick edit on these guys so you can kind of see some of my process for editing a photo like this over on the computer. So let's dive in. So let's go ahead and pick one of these guys. Let's see, that's not, here we go. This is where our long exposures start. You can kind of see that by seeing where all of the water seems like it's all nice and ghosted out and looking kind of smooth and cool. So let's see. This particular photo was actually too long of an exposure, and I believe that I bumped the camera. So something to keep in mind whenever you're doing shots like this, you want to make sure that your camera is really sturdy in place on a tripod, a nice heavy one specifically. When I was out there, I only had the Gorilla Pod and I had it kind of wrapped around one of the stanchions on the bridge that I was standing on. So it wasn't necessarily the sturdiest way to shoot these kinds of photos. So typically if you're gonna go out and shoot these photos, do yourself a favor, bring a nice heavy tripod and make sure your camera is really secure where it's sitting. Otherwise, those long exposures are gonna result in a blurry image like this. Okay, so I think we're gonna work with this image right here. So this one was about a 6-second exposure, and I think it came out pretty cool. I'm gonna go through and just make a few adjustments, and that way we can kind of edit this thing and make it super pretty. First things first, I just wanna straighten this photo out a little bit. So I'm gonna take this guy, we're gonna just rotate it ever so slightly. Not too much. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's pop open some presets here, and I'll go ahead and let's see, using the premium presets. And let's see. I kind of like the way cinematic 12 looks. Okay, so we're just going super simple. You can do this if you have the current version of Lightroom, you can do this, follow along, and do it exactly the way I did if you want. Okay, so I've applied that preset. Now I'm going to go back in here and I'm going to just bump the shadows up a little bit. And then I'm going to bring the highlights down just a touch and bump up the whites a little bit. I'm going to go down into the color mixer, grab the green, and I'm going to just darken that green up a little bit. And we'll leave pretty much everything else the same. I think I might want to just throw a little bit more of a deep orange in there. Okay, looking good. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and just take a quick peek. Add some green. We're going to bring the size down and the roughness down. Actually, I might bring the size up a bit. Okay, I just like the way that looks. We'll zoom back out, drop in a bit of a vignette, and feather the hell out of it. And I think we're getting pretty close. Kind of want to go in and do a little bit of sharpening here. So one of the things I like to do when I'm sharpening is I like to drop down this panel and hold down the Option key while I'm doing my adjustments. And what that'll do is it'll give you sort of a focus on what exactly you're changing. So whenever you're doing sharpening, you want to zoom into 100% so that you can actually see what's happening there. So I'm going to zoom in up here, and it looks like this photo is a little bit blurry, but that's okay. So we're going to go ahead and hold down Option, and we're going to sharpen this guy up. You can see it kind of kicks over into a black and white, and then we'll go radius. So if I hold down Option there, you can kind of see how it's changing, how it's sharpening things. And now with detail, I want to actually bring the detail down, because what detail does, it sharpens everything. So if you reduce the detail, it'll stop sharpening any noise that might be inherent in the image. And then masking, if you have never used masking before, it's pretty cool. So you can kind of adjust this in order to select specifically what areas of the photo you're actually going to sharpen. So once again, click, hold down Option, and you're going to see as I drag this slider, it's going to show you the specific edges that it's sharpening now. So that's kind of cool, right? Now if we zoom back out, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little photo adventure and the little tiny editing tutorial. You know, nothing super exciting, but it was enjoyable for me. I hope it was enjoyable for you. If it was, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Later.